Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, Chels?
Hey, Chelsea.
Doing well. I'm going to start with a question for the boys. Josh, Drake, y'all are
Hey.
the bad boys of our story. As actors, how fun is that to play? And do you ever get the script and find yourself yelling, "Get it together" at your character?
Well, it's crazy because Josh, I feel like just went method and just really drew on like real life experience.
Yeah, I was doing street racing, off campus. Yeah. No, it was so fun. That's the thing about being more of the on the antagonist side, which I love doing, is you have that latitude. You don't have to be sort of the everyman or the audience's conduit into the story. You can actually have levity and fun throughout the performance, and bring a lot of color and shape to it. And Johnny's script allowed us to do that. So yeah, really fortunate to have been given this role.
Also, I had no idea you had an accent until right now. And wow, your American accent is great in the show.
Thank you very much. That was all great. I was sending him voice memos of me reading the script, being like, "Do I sound American, mate?"
Amazing. All right. So, Motorheads, this is a series that kind of deals with a lot of firsts. So, I thought it would be fun to ask some questions related to each of your firsts as related to the show. So, the first step to getting a role is the audition. Tell us about your audition process.
I read for Harris Bowers, and they said it's too good. Uh, they said we want to go a different direction. We're thinking, but no, I read for Harris Bowers, and it was in that read that I read the script and I saw Ray, and I went downstairs and I was taping at my manager's house, and I went downstairs and I told my manager I was like, hey, you can submit this if you'd like, but I was like, I would much rather and feel much more drawn to the character Ray. So I was like, if you can get me an audition for that instead, I'd much rather read for that role. And then that's kind of what happened. And then I taped for Ray, and the rest is history.
It's funny to think this all kind of came about pre-strike. So I was still living in Australia. I was living in Sydney and I did the tape for it at my agent's office. And I actually, when I found out that I had booked it, I was literally about to fly out to move to the States. And it was kind of this crazy timing. There's actually a video I was at home with my parents. My dad was like filming me when I was on this phone call and he was like, captured the moment. But yeah, it was so crazy. It was so long ago. I'm so happy that this is finally coming out and that we did it and people are going to see it. It's just like, let's go. Feels good.
Yeah, it's similar to Drake. I think my first tape was for Uriah's character Curtis, and I guess they must have seen something malevolent and smug because they made me tape for Harris. And thank God Drake didn't go for Harris, or else I wouldn't be here. So.
There you go. All right. So, now you've booked it, you guys are doing your prep, and it's time to finally start shooting. Tell us about your first day on set.
Oh, what was my first day? I think day one was episode two for me. And I think it was the scene with me confronting Ryan Phillippe in his chop shop. And that was like as is the first day, that was just all nerves and I kind of just blacked out. And not in the way that you would hope you did, in the way of like I just blanked staring at Ryan's face. And yeah, that was day one for me.
I feel like day one was so crazy because it was the first time I'd seen everything that they had done with the set. I mean, it was so impressive. They built this entire world on this stage, like the diner that we find these characters in pretty often. We actually shot the first scene in there, and for me, and it was just so crazy that just like the movie magic of it all, I was so kind of impressed with. I hadn't really seen anything really like that before. So I was like really like I felt like just a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah, I remember my first day. On my very first scene, it was, I think, when Michael walks past and sort of goes, "That kid has a Porsche," and pans over, and I'm just sort of splayed out on this Porsche, chatting. But I did that scene. Jana was there, and Miles were there, and they were just so lovely and just pretty much calming me down because I was sort of like, "Oh, am I meant to be here?" Like da 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 da. Flew around the world for this. But yeah, John and Miles were just it was just by fate that my first scene was with them, and they were incredible.
All right, something a little bit more fun. So when you're on set and you're a little hungry, what's the first thing you grab at Crafty?
Ooh.
Welch's.
The
I'm
fruit snacks?
Yeah, those little fruit snacks. I love that, and a Diet Coke.
I tell you what, I unfortunately discovered goldfish. We don't have that in Australia. I don't know, it hasn't hit us yet. We'll get it in 5 years, but I remember the day I discovered it was my downfall because they're so addicting. What about you, Drake?
This is gonna sound such a douchey answer, but anything that was like high protein. So they always have like food that they would make for you, and so I would just get like a bowl of meat, and I would just eat that. It was not appetizing for me. I was like, this is what I need right now.
I mean, sometimes those hot snacks, the teriyaki bowls, just getting the meat, it's great. I can't knock you on that, you know. All right, last question. So shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about driving because everyone does some driving in this series, and for our lovely lady here also, when I say driving for you, we're going to talk about the horse, okay? So some of these scenes more terrifying than the others. Also, working with a horse can be very dangerous. Was there any sort of training for y'all? If so, how'd that go? Was anyone nervous?
Grew up in high school. I had a horse during my time in high school, and I loved it. I've always felt very close to the horse girl vibe. But I hadn't ridden a horse in a really long time. But I was very excited about it. We had a day before we filmed that scene with the horse where I got to meet him and like walk around and feed him, and it was the best day. That's just like the happiest day on set for me. I think I was just being able to like play with a horse. Like that is so cool. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that, and I'm so thrilled that they put it in. And Johnny didn't even know that I had a history of riding horses, and when he told me about it, I sent him these photos of me in high school with this horse, and he was like, "That's crazy. What are the chances?" It just felt very yeah, perfect. Kismet.
I think Drake actually did a bit of stunt training before.
Yeah, actually, I went and got certified as a stunt driver, which proved itself utterly useless because I didn't get to do any stunt driving, which ultimately probably did the betterment of the show because our stunt team was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. You don't think about how nerve-wracking it is to drive one of these old like manual cars while trying to do a scene where you're trying to like be because you're focused on not hitting the crew, you're focused on stopping on your mark, you're focused on not going too fast, you're shifting like, and then on top of that, like where it's a lot more than you would think.
Yep, that sounds like a lot. But I'm really impressed that you went and got your stunt training certificate. I'm guessing in precision driving.
Yeah, it was a precision driving school in North LA.